I recently shared a video with you talking about my journey from being a non-runner this time last year to starting up running in January, and the lessons that I had learned from that along the way, and more importantly, how they could apply to you and your public speaking journey. Since then, I have run my first race. It wasn't something I had planned for or prepared for. It happened by an opportunity arose and I went for it. And on reflection from there, I have 5 tips or lessons that I want to share with you today for what I have taken from that experience, and more importantly, how you can apply it to your public speaking journey. So welcome to episode 28 of Unlock Speaking Confidence with me, Maureen McCown. The first tip that I would have is to define what success looks like for you. I hadn't expected to be running this race. The opportunity arose and I took it. And I hadn't the level of preparation needed to run a 7-kilometre race at the time. So defining what success looked like for me, well, there were challenges that were there. It was taking place in Brisbane, Australia, 2 days after I arrived in the country, though I had to bear in mind that I would be tired, there could be jet lag. I wasn't in this race to win it. I wasn't even in it to compete. My goal was to complete it, to get around that course, walking and running, and complete the 7 kilometres. When you are having a speaking event, and if it is something that's quite new to you and you're at the beginning of your speaking journey, define what success looks like for you. And it doesn't have to be having a perfect speech. Why put yourself under that much pressure? Take where you are now and set a goal that is going to be achievable for you, and that's something that you can really aim towards, because it is part of your journey towards improving as a speaker as you continue. And that leads me into the second lesson that I have, which is that things might not go according to plan, and that's okay. I mentioned I was after travelling to Brisbane for visiting family when this race was taking place. So I had an idea in my mind as to what time ideally I would like to get around the course for the 7k, but I figured I probably wasn't going to hit that, and that was okay, because I was making progress, and I was back to point 1. I was heading towards achieving the goal that I had set myself, which was defining what success looked like for me. I had to walk more than what I liked. That was fine. There was no point in beating myself up over it, because I was doing the best that I could in the circumstances as I was on the day. So the same for you. Don't be beating yourself up over what goes wrong and thinking that you could be doing better. Instead, accept that it might not go as well as you planned. You're doing the best you can, and how can you move on? And that leads me very nicely into the third point, which is focusing on what you have achieved and not your flaws. Because I was walking and stopping to walk far more regularly than I would have liked. And at the beginning, the voice in my head was, criticizing myself and thinking, I should be doing more, I should be walking, I shouldn't have to be stopping to walk, should be able to run this more. And then I stopped to think, and I thought, hold on one second. I am walking, running 7 kilometres. In January of this year, I could not run for 30 seconds non-stop. So instead of focusing on what I wasn't doing right, I changed my mindset and started thinking, well done me for even putting myself into this position. Same for you. When you were delivering that speech, that presentation, and elements of it don't go the way you had planned, or it doesn't go exactly as you would have liked, instead of beating yourself up over that, think about the progress that you've made so far, that you've put yourself out there, that you're speaking, and that it is a work in progress. And the fourth point that I have is from that to learn from mistakes and move on. Because yes, it doesn't go necessarily to plan, but that doesn't mean it will always be that way. You can change it, you can improve it. This is your starting point. For me, one of the mistakes that I made in hindsight was that I wasn't keeping an eye on my time. Timing wasn't a key element for me. Like I said, my goal was to get around the course, but I'm slightly disappointed that had I known I was close to the target time, I could have pushed myself that little bit more and definitely would have achieved the target. Instead, I decided I'm just going to enjoy the walk, run. I'm not going to focus on time. So a mistake that I had made was to completely disregard my time, because I could have had that extra celebration if I come in under the goal that I had loosely set in my mind for it. So from your point of view, this is where the feedback comes in. Take a look afterwards, get feedback from a colleague who has been there, download my feedback checklist to be able to help you with this, so that you can see areas that you did well on, which is great, and you work on those and you build on that and you improve it, but also that you can see areas that you can work on to make even better the next time around. And the final part of it, and this is so important, and it is to celebrate the win, because it might be just 7 kilometers. Definitely isn't a marathon or half marathon, but this medal for me, I am so proud of it, because I know the work, the effort that went in to get me from where I was in January to achieving that now. And the same for you. When you're making progress, and each time that you get up to speak that you're making small steps of progress, then celebrate each one of them, because you've worked hard to get there. So you deserve to have that celebration as well. Hope that you found those tips helpful. Thank you for joining me. And my name is Maureen from Soft Skills Success.